The Gambit Raids are coming and the Pride Inferno milestones are here, but do you need a PhD in economics to figure out Marvel Strike Force nowadays? We're talking about that, and we have an update coming next week. What you need to do to prepare. We're discussing all of this and more in this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. This week, I'm joined by my brother DorkyDad. And if you're ready for it, brother DorkyDad, tell him what to do, my friend.
Let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello. What is up, Valley Maniacs? I am ValleyFlyin. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel and this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. We're discussing the best, worst, everything in Marvel Strike Force. And if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button because we do this every single week. And we got at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel. But today, joining me is brother DorkyDad. And there's a lot to discuss. We got a lot of convoluted content in Marvel Strike Force right now. Some unnecessarily complicated stuff. We're gonna get to all the calculations of these new Gambit Raids, these confusing milestones. It took me about an hour to figure these out on stream. And that was with everybody helping me on stream how to figure these out. So very confusing. How are you liking Marvel Strike Force nowadays with all this new content coming?
The new content is pretty exciting, but just like you, I think I spent an hour with Twitch chat yesterday just kind of mapping out the Gambit Raids and like what the heck is going on. So there's like, yeah, you need a PhD right now to just understand what's expected of us.
You know what? There were people in chat this morning that did have PhDs, and they were confused by these events too. So it's not just us. It's not just us non-PhD folks that are trying to figure this out. Even the folks with PhDs are confused by these convoluted events. But we'll get to all of that. We'll explain all of that for you guys, what you need to do to prepare. But this week, I had a major milestone that you had happen months ago. You got the Dormammu unlocked. Finally got a baby Dormammu in our midst, and there were some decisions I made to get Dormammu that I regret. There were some decisions that I was happy with. And I guess my biggest decision was putting these individual pieces of gear, teal gear on characters before I was ready to take them all in. I would recommend holding off until you're actually ready to enter the section before you put all this up. What was your biggest takeaways after finishing Dark Dimension 5, brother Dorky?
Oh my God, my biggest takeaway was that the global section is the most difficult, the most annoying, and you need, like, it sucks to say use your Mystic gear on Doom because, you know, you have the Darkhold and then you want to kind of be ready for Dormammu, but Doom makes that global section not rage-inducing. Without Doom, it's awful. When I did the second run with Doom, I was like, okay.
Oh, wait, your first run didn't have Doom?
No, I didn't have Doom in my first run. It was bad.
All right, I got held up in entering Dark Dimension 5 because as soon as we got the teal gear, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to use him every day. I know he's going to be a Dark Dimension character. I went right into Doom, and that kind of stopped me from entering a little bit earlier. But yeah, he was a very good character. Any other standout characters worth mentioning for people on their first run to build up, or any other tips that you came across like, this was something I did well, I wanted to let everybody know to do this, or something like, I shouldn't have done that, nobody should do this?
Okay, so the Eternals, again, though Mystic, they trivialize the Cosmic section. Again, it kind of sucks to say use your Mystic gear there, but I think they're well worth the investment to make that section easier, and then I think they'll probably be needed if there's another Dark Dimension in the future. Certain legendary characters are a must. Omega Red,
there's 2.
A must.
There's 2.
And Morgan Le Fay,
those ones. Oh my goodness! You know how much content I got through with just those 2. The other 3 died, and it was just them like clearing wave after wave after wave. They're so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, get them, build them up, and Dark Dimension 5 Global Legendary is going to be so much easier. Now, one thing I did want to mention, after I completed, you get a lot of these rewards. I brought up a few characters right away. One of them was, where is she? Maria Hill. Not necessarily for Dark Dimension, but because I'm using her in the skill section of Doom. Agatha, because I'm using her in Arena. and Shuri, because I'm using her in the tech section of Doom, and she would have made Legendary a lot easier. Are there any characters worthy of bringing up to Gear 16 after you're done with Dark Dimension 5, or are you recommending people to hoard their stuff in preparation for Dark Dimension 6 whenever it rolls around?
It really depends on your playstyle. If you're trying to excel in these new game modes like Scourge, Tower, Cosmic Crucible, there's certain characters that are super, super strong with that Gear Tier 16. Spider-Woman up there in your top right corner, she is right now my favorite plug-and-play character.
Okay.
Did not hesitate for a second to Gear Tier 16 her, and I've had zero regrets since then.
Okay. Now, did you use her in Dark Dimension 5? Is she a big value in War and some other modes, or specifically Dark Dimension 5?
So, Dark Dimension 5, I didn't use her because she wasn't out when I finished.
Okay.
But War, I use her every War for a very particular matchup with Young Avengers, where her contribution is like super necessary to work, and her being bigger makes it work. And then for Cosmic Crucible, I have a very particular use for her particularly that I think we're going to get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
When we talk about Crucible later.
Well, maybe later. That's towards the end of the video. We're going to be talking about Crucible, but yeah, I do want to get your tips on that because you're playing that game mode a lot more effectively than I am. All right, so that's a good character as well because she's going to be a character not required, but it'll make Scourge Famine a lot easier if you have her built up because she doesn't have that A-Force tag. So, all right. So that is some characters worthy. Those who I thought, let me know in the comments if there's any other characters that you have brought up to Gear 16 and after Dark Dimension 5 and are happy that you brought it. But let's talk about this confusion that I had yesterday. There was a lot of speculation that we're getting new raids featuring Gambit, especially because the name of this event is Ace of Raids. All of the details that they shared with us is subject to change, and that's kind of a common theme with these blog posts here. It's going to be starting on the 15th of June, and it's going to run for 14 days, 2 separate events. We're going to get into these characters, but what was your initial impression when you saw these characters? Does this look like fun raid to you, my friend?
The concept looks fun. The characters that they've associated with these traits makes it look immediately unfun, particularly clubs. If you go to the clubs, like, God help whoever has to do the club lane.
You got Surfer. You got Surfer there. He's kind of a one-man army. When I'm facing him on the raid defense or run raid enemy, he like smashes my team. But I haven't used him in a raid for a while though. So Yondu has some. He can summon some healers.
I have a 7 red star Gear Tier 15 Yondu, so that's cool. But you only have 3 characters there highlighted for use. Like
that is. Yeah, at least I have 4 highlighted in diamonds, and those are very questionable. But we'll get into all those because look at these lanes. You get some diamonds here, some diamonds, all the way diamonds in this lane, and hearts. I think it's a little easier to see all this stuff on MSF.gg. It's a little blank there, but what lane do you want? The hearts lane there?
I want whatever lane has the most spades in it because the spades is kind of stacked.
All right, then.
Yeah, because the hearts and the diamond lane, there's 14 nodes where you have to use those traits. I don't think the people on those teams can survive for, you're going to probably be partnered with somebody on the outside. I don't think the hearts team or the diamonds team have enough sustain to survive 7 nodes. So I kind of want to avoid those.
Depending how hard it is, right? I'm wondering if it's going to be everybody is like getting all stressed about it, gearing up their characters, and then it's going to be like Pocket Dimension where it's a lot of auto in the beginning. So
yeah, I would definitely hold all your resources until you see it day 1, and then go from there. You might lose out on some milestone orbs from the high roller, but it's going to be worth it. Just don't panic build yet.
Yeah, especially because on MSF.gg, we don't know what any of the enemies look like. We don't know all the nodes or what these nodes are going to be. These waves, yeah, it says the waves not available till June 15th when it goes live. So it's very hard to tell how hard this is going to be, how much you should be pushing. And I don't know if any alliance has chosen what difficulty will be appropriate for them because we don't know all the enemy information. Now, it does say 1 to 3 different enemy team compositions, and those are going to be chosen at random when the raids start. So once you start the raid, it's locked in, and you can kind of tell what enemies you're getting. They may not be the same, but what do you think of this kind of these RNG for these raids? I think they tried to add that with some different stats previously, and it very confusing. Now we can kind of see that it's very easy to see that you either have Brotherhood, Wakanda, Defenders on these first few lanes. What are your thoughts on this randomness?
So it's going to definitely make it more intricate and more challenging, because like we do with the raids we have now, we find the flow to the raid. We figure out at what point we can start using auto basic to be prepared for the next node. This element of randomness on an event, a raid that is only 14 days long, is going to take us out of that comfort zone and having to deal with the unknown every single day, because there's so many different variations throughout your entire lane that's going to really change it up. So it's interesting in that regard, and also terrifying in that regard, because we don't have any resources for like heals or raid energy off the bat. So this might become very core intensive for alliances that want to
all right, so
yeah.
let's take it to the worst features of this. This being a character release event.
Yeah.
If that wasn't a character release event and this wasn't a 14-day total event, I think I'd be a little more open to this. I'd be thinking this is a little more fun. What are your thoughts on this? If those two things were removed, would your hype level for this be a lot higher?
Yeah, if this was for resources, like say this was for gold or promo credits, silver, gold, whatever, and then maybe they had Gambit running along as the seasonal milestone character like Surfer was and now like Ghost Spider was, I think people would be more hyped for it. But because it's locked to that character, and people really want to play with Gambit, they want strong Gambits, it's causing a lot of anxiety.
Now, a lot of times the devs say, they're just trying to experiment with stuff, and they're judging the player's reaction and how they're going to move forward with this. Do you think this was a better idea or a worse idea than those 2-hour Deadpool raids back in year one?
I never played the 2-hour Deadpool raids, but
those are tough. Those were tough, man. Trying to align everybody in the alliance to try to get that 2-hour window and using your refreshes in that 2-hour window. It was tough to try to get everybody coordinated.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of coordination.
It wasn't good.
Any like alliance event that is tied towards a character release, I tend not to like, because it encourages people who are maybe carrying their alliance a little bit more to leave that alliance and go to people that are more hardcore. And that kind of breaks up alliances and it hurts the community in that way. Whereas say that person who maybe wails out more was fine playing at that lower level because they were getting the shards through offers or through solo events. As soon as you tie it to an alliance, it starts like creating rifts. And I don't think that's healthy or good.
I agree with you. We should be playing this game for fun, and it's the surfer thing with the milestones that caused a lot of alliances to break up. And we got another thing that's added, not just the randomness of this. We got some combat modifiers, aka Scourges, coming in this event. When a character player blocks, they also gain stun. I mean, we got some pretty nasty Scourges here with some pretty bad non-synergy characters that we're going to get to in a little bit. How difficult do you think this is going to make these raids with just these Scourges? Even if the enemies have very low health and low stats, with just these Scourges here and the characters we have to use, is this going to be too hard for most alliances?
There's one lane in particular I'd like to highlight with you. If you scroll up to the Scourges, the red Scourge, right there. When an enemy takes damage, they gain speed up. No, that's brown to me. Maybe I'm correct.
Okay.
2 down, when an enemy takes damage, they gain speed for +2 turns. That is an insane Scourge that everybody who was in the top 10 for the Morgan Le Fay avoided like the plague, because that speed is king in this game. To give 2 turns of speed is nuts. And that is on the diamond lane. At the end of the diamond lane, it's the Scourge, they're crazy, because the teams we're going to face have Black Order on them and they have Infinity Watch. I can't imagine having to face an Infinity Watch team that gets speed up every single time you hit them, and then they're rezzing back in. It's gonna be insane for that team.
This looks horrible for a limited. Now that you mentioned that, this looks even worse for a limited time character release event. My goodness, this would be fun if this was just for resources and try to do this for the challenge. But when you have a limited time and you're doing this for a character release, ugh. Yeah. All right, difficulties. I guess I want to discuss this with you. Difficulty 1 through 6, 60% completion for the first time rewards. 7 through 9, 100% completion for the first time rewards. And one of the questions you asked in the Envoy chat and got to answer to, difficulty 7, you do 60%. Are you going to get all these? No, you got to go through this 100%. So I think a lot of alliances may be starting at difficulty 6. What is the talk in your alliance leaning towards in the beginning as far as the difficulty of this?
So I'm part of the management staff or whatever you want to call it for Baby Yoda. We're going to be starting on 7, I think.
7, okay.
7 or 8. I'm kind of assuming that the difficulties level that we're seeing is going to be similar to what we saw for Scourge from Morgan Le Fay. So you know how everybody was doing difficulty 8 with like every single Scourge on. Obviously, we had better options for characters that we were using. But I think that's kind of the baseline difficulty you're going to be looking at. So 7 was very easy on Morgan Le Fay. I think it'll be doable with the characters we have here easily enough.
I hope you're right.
That's where people start.
I hope you're right. These are some bad characters. We could use the synergized teams in the Scourge. We had unlimited amount of attempts. We didn't have to rely on 23 other people to get their attempts right. And hopefully, you know, the person that's in those what is the bad lanes again? What is the clubs? The clubs and diamonds. Hopefully they are doing their things and getting all their stuff right. So this is kind of scary for me.
It is. It's very intimidating for sure. It's like you say though, they tell us the types of enemies we're gonna see on the nose, right? They say, hey, there's gonna be Infinity Watch here, but that doesn't mean there's gonna be the full 5 Infinity Watch team right away. Maybe Adam Warlock's gonna come in after, and you're gonna kill everybody before he comes and gives them that big buff.
And it also says it may have additional characters, and the composition will change between the nodes. So maybe it won't be a full Brotherhood. Maybe it won't be a full Black Order. Maybe it won't be a full, what are some other teams here? Infinity Watches, you know, and maybe they won't get their signature, but maybe they will. And
they almost can't though, because look, if there's a full Brotherhood team and you're getting blinded off the bat because the team we have has no answer for that Magneto gimmick, and the same thing with Wakandan. If there's Shuri is with the full Wakandan team, and maybe there's gonna be 5 Black Panthers instead of 1, and she's giving speed up to everybody, your team will be dead before you get a turn with the characters they've given us. So it's like you say, it's very intimidating just without knowing what we're getting into.
do you think they looked at Scourge and said, hey, the players like Scourge? I mean, if it didn't have the bugs, they liked Scourge. Hey, let's get the entire alliance doing this. And they just like threw it out there and see how the players would react to this. This is a lot more, I got a lot more fear from this, from Scourge.
I know exactly what they saw. They saw that people like me did 4,000 plus attempts on Node 5, and they said, how can we monetize that? Well, let's put it on a raid where if they back out, they have to buy energy to go back in. And I think that's where they're coming from with this.
All right. Yeah, you're probably right. They saw the profit that Scourge made. They said, let's make it so everybody has to do it. And the people relying on their alliance mates, well, yeah, you're going to feel bad if you're letting your alliance down. So you're going to spend the cores. I don't like it. You're right, Dad. I don't like it. Let's talk about these characters. We talked about some of the worst characters. I highlighted some that I thought had some value. I still don't know if all these guys are going to be worth it, though. Diamonds looks like the worst section to me. You thought it was clubs, but I see very little way for these guys to get their health back. Gamora, Nebula, once they die 2 times, they're dead. Carnage, Symbiote, Spider-Man, he has a little bit of a drain. They get some turn meter with Carnage or only Symbiote Spider-Man, but the rest of these guys, they don't look very good. Maybe Dr. Voodoo for his healing. Any other characters stand out? Let me highlight him right now. Any other characters stand out to you?
Yeah, so for me, Dr. Voodoo and Morbius stand out.
Morbius. We'll highlight him as well.
Morbius gets heals when an enemy has bleed if he's doing his basic. I think that's active on his ISO attack too. So Symbiote, Spider-Man, and Carnage and Gamora, they're getting bleeds out all over the place. So Morbius should be able to keep himself somewhat healed. Dr. Voodoo has that shield. He ramps up over time, getting death proofs. So I think there's some synergy here. And I actually agree with the 4 you initially had highlighted. I think that's your core 4 for the diamond section.
Okay, so actually, if you went hard at Scourge, you probably have these characters built up already. So that's not like someone that you have to build up. All right, clubs. This is a nasty section here. Surfer could kind of take care of himself, but doesn't really have a lot of synergy with any of the other characters. Starlet, T'Challa, Yondu. T'Challa is so squishy, and Yondu has some stitchers that he pulls out. Where's the healing? Where's the sustain on this club section here?
Yeah, it's the Yondu stitcher. I think it's what, a 40% heal once every 3 turns.
Jeez, so is Yondu the MVP of this thing because he has a stitcher that he could push out?
I think so.
That's so ugly.
It's going to be like a rotating club of who you're bringing in, pun intended. Like you'll bring Magneto in for 1 node to do a big AoE blind. You'll bring Taskmaster in on the next one, AoE blind, and you're gonna need like so many of these characters built to even just survive the club section. It's gonna be pretty scary, that one.
I don't like it. You're right. I don't like it. All right, let's go to Heart. We got Kitty Pryde. She's a astonishing X-Men. I don't know if she has a lot of other value when she's not on her team though. So Emma Frost, she reduces the speed. She could clear debuffs. She doesn't heal, but she does a lot for the team. Ghost is someone that I use in tech. I know not a lot of people are using Ghost in Doom 2.3, but Ghost, she's got those counters. She has that ultimate that you could get the drains and everything, and she has that turn meter reduction. Sharon Carter's a stun and ability block. Ghost Spider also has an ability block, and then Dagger has a small heal. Any other characters that you're thinking of bringing for this?
So I think the 2 most important for Hearts are Emma Frost and Sharon Carter. I think you have those dead on. The next 2 that I think might be the most important are actually Nico Manura and Spider-Woman. They have a lot of synergy together. Spider-Woman is giving them defense up on spawn. They're both super quick at 129 and 128 speed. Spider-Woman heals herself. Nico, though, through RNG, can heal herself on her special, and then the RNG component to heal on her basic. Buff flips galore, the quick ability block from Spider-Woman, defense down from Spider-Woman, buff flips. I was talking about Spider-Woman earlier. She's just such an amazing character. I think the core 4 are going to be those ladies there. Also, it's kind of funny. The Hearts section is all girls, and then Gambit. I like that little nod. Well,
it's Gambit's event. He goes for everything there. Now, what about Mantis? Mantis at one time when she was released was the best healer in the game, and then she got surpassed very quickly by Minerva. Is it worth going back and building up Mantis at this point, or is she kind of trash after Minerva was released?
For the love of God, guys, do not go build your Mantis. Don't.
All right. Okay, and the section that I think is going to be the easiest because of Morgan Le Fay, almost a 1-person army, Spades. So we got Morgan, we got Deathpool, Jubilee with no Bishop and no Beast, so I'm not sure how valuable she's going to be. And then we got some awesome raid characters in Scarlet Spider and OG Spider-Man. Anyone else here that you're looking at, or are the blue characters it?
Yeah, no, the 5 you have there are definitely the best 5. It is raids, right? So Jubilee has a 100% chance to do the blind on her basic and on her striker attack. So that's great. Scarlet Spider is going to put offense down, slow and defense down because it's raid. And then most importantly, the 2 that you had at the top there, Deathpool and Morgan Le Fay. Deathpool's giving them both speed up on spawn. Well, not speed up, but speed bar on spawn. And she's feeding energy to that Morgan every time somebody dies. So Morgan is going to be this never-ending machine of death, which I think is going to be great.
Yeah, I like it. Spades and Hearts looks like the top 2 for me, but Clubs is horrible. So hopefully they figure a lot of that stuff out. Now, a couple predictions that I want to get from you before we move on from this. All right. You guys are starting at difficulty 7. What do you think the average difficulty will be for most alliances here? Starting at 6? And obviously you don't know because we don't have the characters, the enemies yet, but what do you think it's going to be? 6, 7, or even higher that most people are going to be running this on?
If I had to guess, I would say the top 150 alliances will probably max out around 7.
Okay.
And then the top 50 alliances might be doing 8. And then I think everybody else will be doing either 5 or 6.
Nobody doing 9 based on these crappy set of characters and all these scourges that are added.
Yeah, look, if the difficulty is what I think it is, and it's going to be the same as the Morgan the Face Scourge event, 9 is going to be straight death. That doesn't mean alliances that have the deepest of pockets aren't going to core their way through it. We'll see the differences in the rewards, I guess.
Is it worth the coring for Gambit, though? Does he have that much value?
I honestly would say no, because if you are a super mega whale, there was enough offers that you can probably have a 6-star, maybe 6.5-star Gambit by the end of this, regardless of what you do.
That's a good point. It might be cheaper buying those offers than actually spending the course to complete this event, because it looks very, very stuff. All right, last question. How many alliances do you think will fold because of this event? Do you think there'll be a 30% attrition, lower than that, higher than that?
I really hope not, but it's because of how confusing it is assigning lanes, it's going to be very tough.
We spent 26 minutes just talking about this. Just talking about this. That's how confusing this is.
Yeah. I'm working on a very intricate spreadsheet with somebody who I trust very much. I'm going to give that to the community, and hopefully that can help Alliance management get it organized easier so that you're not having your Alliance get ripped apart because these drop and it's utter chaos. So, I mean, it's up to us because they don't give us the tools, which kind of sucks. But yeah, some people are definitely going to get broken apart from this.
And we don't know the enemies either. Let's move to the grand prize for all these raids. We talked about him a little bit. Gambit, little disappointing as a standalone character. Have you used him outside of his Unlimited X-Men team? And does he have any value in your opinion outside of Crucible?
I haven't used him anywhere.
Nowhere.
Well, I have him unlocked.
Look at my level of it. He's a level 1.
Yeah, the resources are tight right now.
They're going to Dormammu and other characters. Gambit, Fantomex. They don't have anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, what we didn't mention is that Gambit is usable in every single section of his raid. But
every single one.
To your question you just asked, he kind of sucks outside of Crucible and outside of his team. He has terrible focus. His damage is meh. Maybe him and Sunfire as a duo, they're usable in 3 of the sections. Maybe there's something there that we can play around with. But honestly, I'm super disappointed with the Unlimited X-Men right now. Hopefully Sunfire and Rogue bring it together, but I
don't know. We know their kits. I'm not seeing it outside of Crucible for any of them right now. All right, a couple things. Is it worth now that we know with Gambit, his kit, we see his kit. Is it worth doing anything for these raids outside of this Glimmer bracelet, or are you going to be? Do you think people should be pushing first charge? Because maybe he's not good now, but maybe he'll get a rework. Maybe he'll be good down the road. Maybe Crucible will have a little bit more value down the road.
Yeah, so I think if you just want to be super efficient, you should look maybe at these milestones the same way we look at the current milestones, where we want to get that item to give us a big milestone jump in the Dazzler event, and any tokens as well. And I think that'd be the best, because the rolling whatever milestones with those completed teal pieces at the bottom, they have immense value.
Now, is this the most expensive character release that you've seen? $99, $100 pretty much for 100 shards of Gambit. This one is $75, only 70 shards of Gambit. You're getting some other stuff here, but the initial offers were pretty crazy as well. Now, do you think a lot of that is just based on the popularity of Gambit? Because obviously this character is not a very versatile character. He's not a arena raid character. He's I don't even know if he's a solid raid character at this point. And it's just based on popularity.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is all based on what they thought they can get from Tana. So they just really jacked it up because they knew he was going to pick it all up.
But every single offer, right?
Yeah, for sure they knew they were going to get at least $200 from Tana. So they're like, let's go, jack it up.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, it's not a very good character. Don't build them up. And I guess if you're not, if you still could get those pieces for this Roland Rebel milestones, shouldn't be too stressed about these raids that are coming up. All right, but they did say we're gonna get some Streamlined Raid content. This was back on, what is the date for this? May 6th, though, over a month ago. They said we're getting some Streamlined Raid content. They talked about Cosmic Crucible, the crunch here, but the more poignant message here, coming the subsequent release of version 6.2, which should be coming next week at this point, players will be able to cut out a significant amount of manual input currently required for several of the raids. I thought that was interesting that we got this message, but it looks like the Gambit Raids are coming before we get this Streamlined Raid content. We have more details to share as we get closer to the release. We're pretty close to the release right now. No details on this yet. And this is the first step towards the action we plan to take this year to streamline existing content. What content needs to be streamlined right now besides the raids?
A sim all blitz button would be fantastic.
Do
Cosmic
people,
Crucible manual still war manual.
I like Cosmic Crucible. War, I think you have to do that manual. What about real time arena? Why do we still have that in the game?
Oh, I don't pretend that's a game mode anymore. I just do extra blitz rotation, so I don't even have to look at that besides my 2 that I do during my morning coffee.
That's
where
it.
I'm not looking at it.
Just two a day, two wasted battles a day that mean nothing. You get nothing for except your stuff. That's a place that they could add. Now, there's been several ideas about what they can do to streamline the raids. I think the most popular is after you completed a certain amount of times, you get a 3-star like in the campaigns, and you just get the sim at that point. I think that's what the community is hoping for. What do you think we're actually going to get? What do you think this means?
I don't think we're going to be that lucky, because that would be extremely good.
That'd be the money people listens to the community managers and listens to the community, which we know from that Zeke's interview they don't do. So
yeah, I think we're going to get a sim button, and people are going to use it in Doom 2.3, and they're going to lose, and they're going to get upset, and then they're going to spend cores so they don't have to play the game, and this will just be another monetization route for Scopely. I hope to be wrong. I hope I'm a pessimist in this regard, and it is some kind of 3-star system.
I hope it's right, and I hope if it's delayed for any reason, it's because they're adding something like that, and not that debug mode that we saw that it's a sim that you'd actually lose on some raids, which is worse than having no sim button in my opinion, because then you're losing characters, you're losing energy, and you're getting nothing for it, especially if you lose characters with that sim. So that would be the worst possible scenario, but I hope they do it right and do it exactly like the community is wanting. Now, I did want to mention something that came up. This was discussed for weeks and weeks in the Envoy chat. Player burnout. You know, we're getting a lot of new content, and it's fun, which is good. Cosmic Crucible, I thought was fun. We've had Pocket Dimensions come back. I thought that was fun. Tower Mode is fun. We haven't seen those for a while. And now we're getting some new raids. All this stuff could be fun, but we're not getting any old modes reduced. We still have to do those 2 crappy RTA battles per day. We're getting all these crazy events. How much player burnout is happening right now, in your opinion? And how much of it is because of all this content that we have to do on a daily basis?
We're getting a lot of burnout. I think we've lost 2 players at the end of every season for the last 4 or 5 weeks. And they say it's to player burnout. Most of them are just straight up retiring from the game. These month-long events that tie in with, do 10 raid attacks and win your wars, do 4 or 5 blitz rotations, make sure you do all 5 of your arena attacks. It's really added up, and just the longevity of these 2 events back to back really got to people in a bad way.
Now, one thing I've noticed, I'm not spending as much time in a game. I think my highest time I've spent in a game was during the Madeline Pryor event and the Agatha event. Since those 2 events, my screen time has went way down. And for these month-long milestone events, I was kind of holding off until that A-Force event was done. Is it completable by someone that doesn't spend a dime on all these milestones? And the answer for me for the A-Force was yes. So for me, I don't mind these month-long events because it's leading to, more overall time. I got to make sure I play every day, and I'm doing that anyway, but I'm not spending as much time, many hours per day in this. So I know some people are burning out because of these, but in your opinion, do you like these month-long milestones with less overall screen time, or would you want it in these, 7-day runs or 14-day runs, and then it's done? You don't have to worry about it after that point.
Yeah, so I love the event itself with the rewards. It's how we're getting these tokens along the way, these peppered in events. It just seems like it's never ending. So I do think, to what you said, say they did want to do a month-long event, well, you can have a 7-day coinciding event like we currently have with the Pride milestone.
Yeah.
And then you can have 3 or 4 days off. And then you can have another 7-day event that adds into your month-long event. And then 3 or 4 days off instead of back to back to back to back. But as far as the rewards go, and the time you're realistically putting in to max it out, because like you said, it was free to play friendly. I think it's actually good. It feels like a lot.
Now, if they gave all the information about all these events, and they started to do some of it with this new one that's rolling around, if they gave a lot of that upfront and people know they need to hit this, and then they're going to hit this, do you think that would reduce some of the burnout from all these convoluted event that's going on?
I think it would, but there's a little bit of a deeper problem with, and you said all these new game modes are great, but there's 3 or 4 new game modes that they all seem like they're going to be starting around the same time. This Gambit Raid is going to lead right into the Scourge event, which is going to lead right into Pocket Dimension or Tower, which we have Crucible now every weekend. So we've been adding, and nothing's been kind of dropped. So if some kind of raid sim can work, or some kind of blitz sim all, or if they can find a way maybe to just get rid of arena and slap cores into some other mode instead, I think that would be something that could help alleviate the burnout.
Now, I was thinking that the raid sim would be just for the Greek raids. Do you think with this new Gambit raid, they're talking about extending the raid sim for Doom or Ultimus, depending where you're on, depending what your alliance is doing?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, because this is overtaking the Greek raid, I have to assume the sim is then targeted for the Doom raids.
I hope.
But yeah, I do too, because you spend 15 minutes on just the mutant section alone every day if you're doing all 3 nodes. And then the tech section, you're probably spending 10 minutes there. It seems like you're playing the game almost for 40 minutes just for Doom 2 at this point. So if they could find a way to make that time sink gone, and not in a way that costs cores to make it happen, I think that'd be fantastic.
I agree. All this new content is good. They got to take out some and take out the low quality content, like the stuff we do every single day, and been doing that for a while now. All right, new character coming. He was announced. His kit was announced, and I don't know if I was too overwhelmed by the announcement of Sunfire. A lot of the characters like Gambit, maybe not Gambit, but Rogue, some of these other guys that had long cooldowns. I was hoping we would get kind of an energy battery in this unlimited X-Men team. Doesn't look like the Sunfire's adding that as well. How impressed with his kit are you? And does it make you want to go out and get Sunfire and build him up?
There's 2 really big unknowns for Sunfire for me. Right now, the unlimited team is so slow, and with speed being probably the most predominant stat in this game, that's a problem with them in every other mode not named Crucible. So he does gain speed up, I see right there. Well, this character has speed up, so he's getting it from somewhere. That's cool. But his gimmick is going to be alt, special, alt, back to back, right?
Yep, and then done.
Yeah, so is he going to have a damage stat like Gambit does, like Rogue does? Cool. Is he going to have a damage stat like Fantomex does? Right? So I need to know his speed and his damage stat before I can feel any way about his kit. Because his kit is just boom, recharge, boom. But is the boom coming after he's dead? Is the boom going to tickle them? There's a lot we just don't really know yet.
Now, all of that is inside this unlimited X-Men team. Do you, based on what you see here, does he have any value outside of the team at all?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. So I don't know. Kind of disappointed in this character. I thought it would be a lot cooler. Let's talk about the next thing. You mentioned Fantomex. He has an event going on right now, and it is almost over. Now, back in the day, Cerebro said these event campaigns get you an easy 6 or 7 star. I don't have that yet. Now, the first couple days, I was getting some good pulls, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I will get that 5 star for Fantomex. I don't think that's going to happen now. How did you do on this?
So I bought one Fantomex offer.
Okay.
And I got nothing but greens and I think one blue pull from the orbs.
That's what 100 charge or so?
Yeah, I think it was like 120 or something when everything was said and done.
Okay.
But since his event started, because he's the useless character that he is, I've had god luck on his orbs. I'm talking like 2 purple drops every single day. I think I've had 2 gold drops throughout the event, which never happens.
Oh.
I already have him at 6 yellow star.
Oh my goodness.
2 days left, which is
nice.
Yeah.
All right. So even if you didn't buy that offer, just because it's like you said, because he's totally useless, you got all these good pulls and awesome stuff. So I guess he is an easy 6 star if you get that kind of luck, but only on useless characters. Only on useless characters.
You'll still be disappointed, guys. Don't worry.
All right. So that's I've not really built him up. I have no idea if he's good or not, but based on his kit, not really. Let's talk about this thing though. Victory Blueprint. Now this ended. I didn't complete it all, but I got most of it without spending on this. You know, I spent some power cores for some energy, for some war refreshes. That was about it. How did you do on this Victory Blueprint? And did you get a lot of this ISO 8 level T2 level 4 with this?
You beat me on it. I only got up to milestone 33. I think I was off by about 10,000 for 34.
Okay.
I don't know where I went wrong because I bought on my war attacks.
Did you save your war rewards? I saved one of them. I didn't save a lot. All right, so maybe that's where the difference is. I saved one of my war rewards for the next day. That's about 10,000 points on this event. So
that would do it. I think I would have been at about 163,000 if I had another 10K.
Oh, and I was refreshing my Stark Tech in the War Store as well. So that's where I think I gained some points as well. And I did the 4 refreshes. I think you did the 4 refreshes as well. But that's where the majority of the points were. Now, the bigger question with this Victory Blueprint, who is worth taking up the ISO 8 4 blue? I've done 2 characters. I've done Morgan Le Fay and Agatha. And that's for their value in Arena. And the next character I'm going to do is Dormammu. Is there any other characters on your radar that you want to build up the ISO 8 4 blue? Maybe this one that you're talking about earlier, Spider-Woman? Is she worth it?
She's very tempting because of how I use her. Ooh. But no. So I agree with you. Morgan and Dormammu. I'm not doing Agatha. I'm working on Omega Red. And
I like that choice.
I pulled a mobile and I put 2
pieces
of T4 onto Dazzler. Yeah.
All right. You know what? I almost thought you said Dagger. I'm like, oh, she has some value, but then I realized you said Dazzler, and I did a little bit of mistake. Not a full one, but these 2 pieces on Squirrel Girl. Yeah, the wrong ones. Not the health one that matters for her. The damage that matters absolutely nothing for her. So, yeah, I don't think we're alone in making all these mistakes here, but. Yeah, hopefully they give us more of these ISO 8 level 4s, that all these mistakes that we're making, it won't really cost us too much in there. So that's what I'm hopeful for. All right, we talked about confusing events. We have one going on right now. And like I said, it took me about an hour with a lot of people helping me to figure out what you got to do for this. And there's some confusion. All right, you spend a campaign energy that is 69 points. What do you think of this point for each stuff? Do you think that was intentional?
I don't know, but I kind of hope so, right?
Okay. I think it is. I think it has to be intentional. Now, the confusing one is these Pride Orb Fragments. There's a few places to get them. The first is on your daily objectives. You look at this all complete. When you complete them all, you're getting 2,000 per day, which through this life, if you forgot to claim on your first one, instead of the 12,000 points, that's going to be 10,000 points. So you could get some there. You have some through these Blitz milestones. And I'm going to talk about if they're actually worth it in your opinion. But Is it worth spending cores for this? So we calculated this out. If you do your energy refreshes, you do all the 50 refreshes, and you do 2 of the 100 refreshes every single day, and it's all on this bonus nodes. And what I mean by these bonus nodes, if you go into the supply section, you go check out your orbs here, and you go down to this pride orb stuff. If you click on open, you click on find, you'll see there's some random nodes, and I don't know how they chose these, that you could get some bonus pride orbs. So if you're doing those refreshes and you spend it all on pride orbs, getting some of this crappy purple gear in addition to some good orange gear, you could max out this event. But is it worth it? Is it worth it spending the cores to max out this event? Considering that, you know, if you just do your 50 core refreshes, you should get this, or 2 of your 50 core refreshes, you should get the big thing there. Is it worth maxing it out for the 300 cores a day for this extra gold promo credits? Is pretty much what you're getting.
So 1,500 cores total?
Yeah.
For 50 gold promos, I'd say it is, yeah.
All right, and 1.7 million gold and a few catalysts. It is worth it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
the gold promos, for sure.
Now, is it worth farming the purple gear? So when we go back to these orbs here, and once you run out of the orange gear and you want to spend your energy to get points for this, you notice a lot of these nodes is just purple gear. Is it worth dropping down and getting purple gear?
For 5 days.
For
it's
5
a bitter pill
days.
to swallow, but yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well let's move on. I'm not sure if it is. I guess it is. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. I like to max out these events, but let's talk about
promote 6 red star characters. It's so fun.
There's nobody in my store that I could do. I've been watching these. I'm like, who do I spend this on? Because all the characters that I think are worth it, I don't know how to get the gold stars for them. So they're not at 7 gold stars. So yeah, as good as it is, I still don't know if it's worth it for me. Let's talk about these blitz milestones, because in addition to those certain campaign nodes and your daily objectives, you could get 10,000 of these pride orb fragments. So 5 total pride orbs during all these blitz rotations. But is it worth the time to do all these blitz rotations for this stuff? So I guess you're doing it for these pride orb fragments, but some of these additional rewards, some catalysts here, some purple, some orange, some teal. But are you blitzing hard for this event? Because you can complete it without doing any blitzing, but you're missing out on some of these other things, and you're missing out some pride orbs.
So you get 1 Nico shard per orb. So this is 5 Nico shards. You can get.
Oh my god!
20 rotations.
When you put it that way, I'm like, why don't I even ask the question? Yeah, 5 Nico shards. Yeah, she's a raid character. She's in the diamond section, I believe, or is she a club? She's in one of the sections for these raids. So yeah. Let's do it. I'm gonna blitz hard just for those shards. Thank you for that reminder, brother. All right.
I can't believe they put 1 shard in. Like, guys.
One. Well, this is post her event also, right? This is not a release event. This is just like bonus shards for her. So I guess it's not the worst thing, but a little confusing. All right, let's talk about some other things. Let's go back to this blog post, because in addition to Sunfire, we have Heimdall getting a rework. He looks to be a lot better. Sif getting a rework, and Thor getting a minor rework. Is it worth building these guys up right now for war defense?
I think that the Asgardian team will be as good as the Young Avenger team. They will have very, very particular counters in war, and they're going to be a very big headache for the first month, especially when you're facing like 1 million powered Asgardian teams. So I think they're going to be a really good team. I do.
Now, I guess the other question I want to ask, there's a lot of people, just based on Young Avengers being in this famine Scourge event, do you think the Asgardians are being required for the next Scourge event?
The next Scourge event is super weird, right? Because we had more teams before the Morgan Le Fay that kind of lined up. Like, Young Avengers made sense. We've already had Dark Hunters. So they haven't done it yet, but will Darkhold be in the next one? I tend to think not, because it's been super invested in.
Yeah.
Will Unlimited be in the next Scourge event?
Oh, that would be horrible. Unlimited
Yes.
Asgardians? Who's the next Scourge? My goodness, if it's unlimited with zero value outside of Crucible and a war defense team, that would be absolutely horrible.
I mean, there's also Wakandans you can throw in there too. They got a recent rework.
That's not as painful because I at least use Shuri on a daily basis. I don't use these other characters.
I agree, but yeah, for the next Scourge event, man, I have no idea what they're gonna do because there's so many options of these new and reworked teams, and nothing really makes sense when you think about how the first Scourge teams were picked and how the second Scourge teams are picked. The third and fourth Scourge teams, that's gonna be kind of crazy.
Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. What is going to get the players to spend the most? Well, we think it's going to be this, and that's how they're chosen.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I'm sorry. What is it?
And they're being kind of cheap on the Gambit shards for free to play. So the fact that he might be needed for the next Scourge event, they can sell more of his shards in that in between time, kind of all adds up.
I hope these enemies are so low powered that these Scourges are more fun than headaches, but I don't know if that wish will come true. All right, final question about these Asgardians. You guys play war a lot. I'm in a war casual alliance. You're in a hardcore war alliance. Are you building these guys up regardless right now? Not even knowing who the two new confirmed Asgardians are coming. I think we're going to get an announcement of them tomorrow in the blog post. But are you building up Thor, Heimdall, and Sif right now just for war defense?
I'm not. Everybody else in my alliance, I'm looking at my chat and I'm seeing Gear Tier 15 Thor, Gear Tier 15 Sif, Gear Tier 16 Heimdall. I'm like, oh my god. Personally, I have 0 Mystic Gear. Just the orange origin gear, the little purple sigil. I have like 30 of them, and I have Gear Tier 12 Heimdall and Thor. So it's like, guys, I don't know what to do.
We are so lucky that we got the Dark Hunters, then Darkhold, Dormammu, Eternals, all these Dark Dimension 5 characters. Yeah, I got no Mystic Gear either. So even if I wanted to build them, I don't know if I could. So
No, exactly.
All right, I'm gonna say bonus you. All right, Bendy Girl and the Witch. We got an announcement this is coming back. There was an announcement that if you already completed this, you'll get these new rewards, but it looks like since this is super old, over 3 years old, the records were not kept, so everybody is gonna be able to get these rewards, and I think that's good from a rewards perspective. Not as good from a auto this thing perspective, the time it takes to auto this. So what do you think of this coming back? You know,
I'm super excited for it. Yeah.
Did you play on this first run when it was first came out?
I was super new when it first came out, so I think I beat like the first tier or the second tier tops.
Okay.
This one, the Wasp one, and I think the Rocket and Groot one. I've always wanted them to come back so I can do them. So this is pretty dope. Yeah.
I'm glad they're bringing it back. I'm not sure why this is not back more often, especially for players that weren't playing in year 1 and year 2, you know? I remember that Wasp event being so hard. I don't think I completed the first iteration of when that came back. So I'm glad this is coming back. These are kind of relevant characters now in the MCU with Miss Marvel having her own show, Scarlet Witch being the defunct star of the Multiverse of Madness movies. So it makes sense that they bring them in the game. All right, let's get back into the game though and talk about one of our favorite game modes, Cosmic Crucible. It is, we've had our 3rd season, I believe, or is the 4th season, but we've had many of them. What did you learn this time? Anything new that you're doing on defense? Any new strategies? Any new offensive strategies that you want to discuss?
Yeah, so
or the trade secrets that you're kind of keeping to yourself.
No, I share with everybody. Like for a while here, it's been defense as king in Crucible, and that kind of sucks and feels bad in my opinion. I'd rather it be like whoever pulls from the hip fastest is gonna win.
Yeah.
And so the biggest part of that was separating Darkhold and Dormammu into 2 different teams and putting them on defense. But I've been very annoyed losing to Darkhold teams, like literally not even clearing them, that I started to try and find a solution to kill them. And Dormammu, surrounded by a couple of different teams, can one-shot a pure Darkhold team. And that's one of the things I've learned recently that I'm like hard pivoting to. Is
that teams in rooms 5 with this cosmic stuff, room 6? Where are they able to do that? And does it need to be a real Dormammu? Can a baby Dormammu get through that stuff?
No, it'll need to be a real Dormammu.
All right, real Dormammu's only.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta land the stun.
All right.
It should work in every single room because there's actually like 3, maybe even 4 different team options around Dormammu that can make it work.
Nice. Now, one good thing that I know a lot of people were asking for is when these trials go live, when Cosmic Crucibles goes live, some in-game notifications. We got that this time. Did this help you, or are you remembering Crucible every single time?
I remember Crucible is like my main reason for playing the game right now.
Okay.
I'm having so much fun with it. Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 p.m. comes, I'm already waiting. Like, let's go. So
now you may have not forgot to get your attacks, but you may be in some rooms that people had 0 scores. Did you notice any 0 scores before that? And did this announcement help you?
No, everyone I've gone up against has been a sweaty nerd. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. All right. We also have noticed that we have an update coming next week. If we scroll down here, and it looks like it is going to be on Tuesday based on when the event is running. The event for the Nico shards, the Pride Inferno Milestones. They were supposed to be 7 days. It looks like it's timed with a Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific, the game going down. So it's actually 5 days and 19 hours instead of 6 total days for the event. And it looks like it's because of this update coming soon. New Famine Scourge event for Rogue, 4 new playable characters. Now, as far as predictions, we got some prediction on who these characters are, and based on what we see about the Asgardians, these predictions make sense. So the first was Jane Foster, Thor. The second was Valkyrie. If these are the final 2 characters to complete this War Defense Asgardian team, are these day 1 buys and build up for you just because they're War Defense, or are they exciting characters for you?
Valkyrie is a pretty cool character. Lady Thor, I kind of can do without. It doesn't really matter. But I got to assume at least Lady Thor is going to be Mystic. And if I can't build Heimdall and Thor, well, I can't build her. So it's kind of like, why would I buy it?
Do you think they're doing this on purpose, or they just don't realize the Mystic crunch that we're in?
I think they're just oblivious to it.
I think that as well. I would.
There's a new movie. There's a new movie, guys. Put this team out. Let's go.
Oh, and what makes sense for the Mystic? Let's just keep the Mystic theme going. Yeah. All right. So now, as far as Valkyrie, would you want to see the MCU version based on Tessa Thompson, or the blonde version like we see in the comics? Which Valkyrie would you prefer to have in Marvel Strike Force?
I've enjoyed
or both with a costume.
Oh yeah, both with a costume. I guess both best of both worlds. But I like the way, I don't know her name. You said Tessa Thompson?
I think I'm like 90% sure that's her name.
Okay, I've enjoyed her portrayal of Valkyrie. I'm down with that. Cool.
Yeah, that's the only one I know. I don't really know the blonde one from the comics, so that's what I think I would be more happy with. But I mean, based on the way Wrong was released, we'll get the blonde one. That's going to be the avatar in game, and then if you want to see the one like the MCU, you have to get the costume in an event coming up later. All right, new raid, the Strike Pass. All right, we know about the Gambit Raid, new event campaign, and I guess the big thing that I wanted to discuss right now is this Scourge event is coming. We know the Gambit Raids are starting on the 15th. When do you think this Scourge event is going to go live? Is it going to be after these Gambit Raids are done? So 2 weeks from the 15th, which would be the 29th of June. Is that when we're getting Scourge? Or do you have some other prediction? Is it going to run concurrently with these Gambit Raids or towards the end of the patch? What do you predict for this Scourge?
No, they're not going to run it back to back, Valley. It's going to be out on the 30th. They're going to give us a day.
Oh, wait, is the okay? God. So we're going in a new direction in Strike Force. I like it. Giving players breaks, giving them breaks so you don't have to grind every single day.
Yeah, so I don't think she's going to be available during the Gambit raid. Otherwise, her tag would have been added in there, I think. They want to encourage people to, buy T4s, buy whatever else to build her up. And we would definitely do that if we could use her in sections of this raid.
Now, the other thought I had is the Rolling Rebel milestones, they end on the 30th, which means the first we're probably getting a new one, which means that if you completed all these events, you should have the remaining 4 Unlimited X-Men unlocked. Do you think it makes sense for them to start it on the 1st, the Friday? the 1st of July or run it right on the 30th, like you said?
Oh, I have no idea what they're gonna run.
Oh, I don't. Neither do I. We're just predicting at this point. So.
So she's such a cool character. Maybe this is for you guys. For me, July 1st would be great. It's Canada Day. But maybe because she's so cool, July 4th, big hubbub. Here you go, guys. Here's Rogue. Have some fun.
Maybe. I think it would be more appropriate to get a different event for July 4th because that's an American event, whereas Rogue is international. Look at her. She's got pyramids behind her. She's an international character, my friend. All right. So I like your prediction, the 30th, but I'm going to push it back one more day to the 1st. I'm hoping there's something different for the 4th of July, but that is a Monday, so that is very possible that it could start on the 4th of July as well. All right. It is now time to discuss the recent Disney Plus show. Now, since it just came out last night, you didn't see it, so we're not going to discuss any spoilers. I did see it, so I'm not going to be answering any questions. But what was your hype level for Miss Marvel, and what do you expect to see in Marvel Strike Force for that? So yeah, no spoilers because you didn't see it, so you guys don't have to worry. You don't have to tune out right now.
So from what I've seen of her trailer, it actually looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a comic book inspired show with like pop-up expressions like you get in the comics, which was super cool. It's based around a kid, so it's maybe something that I can actually watch with my toddler, which is really, really fun. So on like a hype level, I mean, it's not Loki, it's not WandaVision, right? So if I was like a 10 for them, maybe I'm like a high 6 for Miss Marvel, just because I like Marvel content.
Yeah.
And
I'm about the same.
Yeah.
Or I was about the same. Maybe I can't. I'm not going to say if it's higher or lower since I've watched the first episode.
But it must be pretty cool for you because you have 2 girls right around that age where they can probably enjoy it.
They're out of town right now, so we haven't watched it together. But once they get back in town, we'll be watching these, and I think they're gonna like it. I think they'd like it. And without giving too much spoilers, what you mentioned, all those pop-ups have really had a Scott Pilgrim versus the World type of feel to it, and I kind of like that. Not a different feel for a lot of MCU type of content, but that is it. That is all. That is all we have for this week. A lot of discussion about these Gambit raids and everything else going in Marvel Strike Force. Anything else that you want to get off your chest before we go, or anything that you want to promote that you have coming up, my friend?
I'll just promote them working on a spreadsheet with a buddy Callan for the Gambit raids to try and help alliances gather their information, organize it so they can assign the appropriate lanes and be as successful as possible. So hopefully I can get that out to you guys by the weekend and make sure everybody can make a copy of it and utilize it to where their alliance needs it. And that's
all right. So tag me on Twitter or something, and I'll retweet it when it goes live or something. But guys, the links to his YouTube channel, the links to his Twitch channel, and anything else you send me is going to be down below. So make sure you check that out and give him subscribe. Hit the notification bell on his channel so you know as soon as that goes live, and you will get that spreadsheet. Help your roster, or help your alliance organize it all. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up notification, the notification bell. The thumbs up is the like button and all that stuff. I will see you guys next time. Check me out on Twitter. I'm on there a lot, and that is probably the best place to ask a question. If you want to get a question answered for the mailbag that I do every Monday, make sure you all remember the Discord. The link for that is down below as well. But DorkyDad, as usual, my friend, I know you've been a little bit under the weather. It has been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave it a thumbs up. If you're listening to this on the podcast version, leave it a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to. And that is it. Are you ready for the fist bump, my friend?
I'm always ready, brother.
All right, here we go. Hulk fist bump. DorkyDad and ValleyFlyin out. Have a great week, guys.